Hello there, this is Eucalyptus Rain bringing you motivation, healing, and reasons to keep going. Today I'm going to talk to you about a topic that is very, very sensitive to some people, and also I guess I'm very glad to be able to talk about this today because it means that I have healed a lot from where I've been before. Enough so that I can understand, understand, and overstand how to relate to this topic. And that is how I prevented myself from committing suicide. Suicide is the most deepest, I think, the most awful feeling to be in because a lot of people get to that point. I guess I got to that point a lot of times because I felt that the pain was too much to bear and I didn't want to live anymore because I thought that there was no way out. There was no escape and I'm trapped in this kind of reality and it's the only way that my life is going to go for the rest of my time on this earth. And I thought that all that was left was doom. And come to find out, there are blessings. There are blessings if you just hang on, keep going. What do you have in your mouth? Come here. Spit that out. Anyhow, I tried to make a video earlier and he farted, so I'm just gonna roll with it and not edit it anymore because this is all a part of the joys that I now have found, even though it is taxing at times and it is a lot of energy to keep up with little ones. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be alive and to have gotten through all these painful scenarios. The first time that I got to a deep part of depression meaning the inability to construct a future. That is the definition of depression. And the first time that I actually, or not the first time I should say, but I guess in my earlier years, as young as about 10 years old, I was already to the point of wanting out of this realm. And suicide or suicidal thoughts, the constant idea of taking my own life was something that was constantly present in my life from the age of around 10 years old all the way up through last year. On and off at times. And I've been through a lot of things that psychologists and psychiatrists have defined as complex traumatic syndrome, which is a series of events that cause post-traumatic stress disorder. So when you experience something very traumatic, just the memory of it is enough to literally scar you to the point of having a traumatic brain injury. You're permanently, unless treated, you could be potentially permanently scarred in this way, cerebrally. So, complex traumatic syndrome happens when there are multiple account after account after account of traumatic instances that have happened from childhood to adulthood that have caused individual accounts of PTSD. So multiple TBIs, multiple traumatic brain injuries that have caused me to startle easily. I had a really hard time talking, or one little thing that associated me somehow with these memories, I would avoid at all costs because if I got stuck in these memories. I left a part of my soul behind in these memories. I was so spooked in that instance that I literally I inked like an octopus. I left my guts out like a sea cucumber, and I left my soul behind in those moments. And it took a lot for me to get those parts back and heal so I could be a good mama. And yeah, am I doing a good job, Olu? Ma. So we're doing pretty good now. What I found helps a lot is called Soul Retrieval, and it's a type of meditation where you go into a state of mind, be alone, and it seems like these memories are so traumatic that you want to run away from them, or else you'll be stuck in them for eternity. Like, to the point where I couldn't see anything physically in front of me. All I saw was my memory, and I was incapable of computing and performing my activities of daily living, which were necessary for my survival and my well-being. So therefore, I became very, I want to say, uncleanly. I became very sad and depressed and stuck. I didn't move a lot. Sometimes I remember almost a state of being catatonic and not moving at all. So what I did that actually has helped me is, contrary to all of my red flags that I seem to have put up, visit those memories, but in a safe way. Visit them as your own self in your present day. Picture yourself as you are going to role play the most healed version of yourself. Role play that. What would that person dress like? What would you dress like if you were the most healed version of yourself? What would your hair look like? What would your attitude be like? How would you talk? Become, maybe even put on these clothes or style yourself this way. Then go to a place where you can be alone with your thoughts and really get a focus. And it could take 30 minutes to an hour, and it might be every day or as long as you need to heal and bring these pieces back. So what you're going to do is, when you go into your meditation, is start accepting and inviting these memories as your healed version. Go into there and picture yourself as that little girl, or as that boy, or as that grown woman that had her dignity slaughtered, or whatever. If you saw somebody absolutely go through death, that can be very traumatic. Or whatever your traumatic situation may be, go visit the broken down person who is stuck in those memories, and mentally connect with them, spiritually connect with them. And it's going to be difficult, because for my personal experience, I was locked in a cell at age 13, and I felt forgotten about and abandoned at this place that I was at, that has now been shut down due to accounts of child abuse. And for the longest time, I felt I deserved what I did. I deserved what happened to me, because I accounted it as something that I did wrong. And that I deserved what happened to me, because it's easier to blame myself, because that way somehow mentally I would have self-control over the situation. But it was not a healthy kind of self-control. It was something that was out of my control. And so I went back and I visited with this girl that was not allowed to talk to anybody. I was not allowed to make eye contact with anybody. I was fed a so-called non-compliance meal, which consisted of sticky rice, that white sticky rice, which is pretty much sugar, iceberg lettuce, which is pretty much just carbs, and maybe mashed potatoes, just carbs. So they wanted me to be very compliant and physically weak. And I was on 200 milligrams of Seroquel, which left me a zombie, pretty much. A physical and mental zombie. And they gave it to me in the morning and told me not to fall asleep and to stand up and do jumping jacks on it. It's just absolute torture to me. And so I did a Soul Retrieval, which was me as my healed version, role-playing as my healed version. I went back to visit this 13-year-old gal and saying, you know, I know it's excruciating right now, but you have to realize that you are the greatest warrior. You know why? Because there's not anybody on the entire planet that can go through what you are going through and make it out alive. Nobody is going to be able to get through that like you can. And I held myself and I told myself about the beautiful things that I had coming and the wonderful things that I was going to experience if I held on and got through those experiences. Just keep going, because you're going to come out a warrior beyond belief. You are going to help many people heal through experiences that might even be, you know, that might just be just as traumatic as the ones that I've been through. I can help free people, and I can live again so happy. I can wake up in the morning and say, woohoo, we woke up again, yay! And I get to enjoy his heavenly eyes, my heaven in a baby. And there's just so many things. I went and visited this child version of myself who went through all these traumas, and I said, there's so many things to look forward to. I'm inviting you to this present reality so that we can be whole and we can be a team together. And it didn't happen overnight. It took revisiting these memories time and time and time again until I had a full set of building blocks with each time I visited that child. And not just on one account, but on all these accounts. The trauma of losing my children, the trauma of... He rolled down the hill. Just a roll or two. It wasn't terrible, but it probably felt so because the grass is a little bit dewy. Anyhow, so the traumas of losing my children and of knowing of my brother's passing and of so many other things that all of the other accounts, I've been sexually abused, I've been physically abused, emotionally, spiritually, and I've been in relationships where the person that I was with was completely psychopath, narcissistic, and alcoholic. I've been with partners who have smoked methamphetamine in front of me to the point of no return. I think they're still there in those moments of their life, and I don't think that they have healed since. I wish them healing, because I know that everybody has an ego. The thing about this universe is polarities. We have a highest healed version of ourselves spiritually, and we have an ego, but who are we going to feed? Who are we going to manifest into our reality? So that's why it's important to bring these parts of us to heal. And each time I wanted to commit suicide, a part of me, I could hear constructing a future saying, if you keep going, you know, you're going to have another baby and he's going to be so beautiful. I could also hear myself saying that, you know, taking your life is not the way to go because this is not what your brother would want for you. I know it's excruciatingly painful and that all you want to do is be with your brother, but know that that's not the way to go about it. Your brother knows that you're a warrior and he wants you to get through this because there's so many more happy times in the physical reality that he really wants to show you. So it takes convincing. You have to convince your lower self to join your higher self and heal, essentially, so that you can become whole again. And that takes a lot of practice. It might take a lot of these sessions. And I encourage you, if you are in a situation where you experience a lot of thoughts about suicide and deep, deep depression, that you look up not just my video, but other videos about Soul Retrieval. There's a wonderful couple that I learned it from on YouTube called the Funkmeyers, Jenny and Otis Funkmeyer. And this was years ago that I first started reading up on their videos, and they are just absolutely, they're bizarre, they are authentic, they are colorful, they are brilliant, they are unlike anybody else, and they are, I think, I experienced from their videos that they have really learned about these topics because the things that they have gone through were very rough, and they learned how to heal and be funny and wonderful and healthy again, and enough so to teach others. And I believe that you can do this too. So healing blessings to you. May the force be with you. May you have a wonderful day and keep going, because there's so many beautiful things in your life that are waiting for you. Listen to your higher self and know that you are loved, that you are a part of this infinite universe that was created because there's the ability to experience joy and comfort and healing and all of its wonderful works. All right, have a good day, and I love you.